Man, this comic book sucks. And the reviews online said it was good. I wasted my money. Why didn't somebody tell me?
Hey everybody, this is Spinnerack. You have Petey here, and we also have
Calvin Ellis, ready to rock as usual.
this one. We're gonna have a good day. Well, we might not have a good day, but we have some reviews for you. And our first one is Peter Parker.
Yeah, but be honest, you don't come here for a good day, do you?
Hey, we're tough, but reviews. If you need them, we're here for you because we got the review of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. It's a new Spider-Man #1. This one starts. I mean, I guess what would you say? Do you think it was necessarily that they need to do another Spider-Man?
Need? No, but they get the money, right?
Yeah. So I don't know where this is as far as, 'cause I haven't been following the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, you don't need to follow that.
Okay, so then I started reading this one, and I was like, okay, it has Adam Kubert. I mean, I'm a fan of his, even though he gets kind of wonky from time to time.
Yeah.
And it starts off, it gives you an intro back to, Peter's history, but it's kind of confusing. It's a nice layout of, him having lunch with the Human Torch, but I didn't know it was a Human Torch.
Yes.
The candles are so small. And
I had no idea who the hell.
print.
You saw the outfit, and I was like, who
Yeah.
the hell is he talking to?
Yeah,
And then after a while,
exactly.
you put it together, okay, that's Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, which is, well, you go ahead and finish up, but that's one of the issues that I have with these books.
Well, I mean, also, that's the whole thing when we've been talking about adding the captions back, because it's like a lot of times, and you'll see in the later reviews that we're going to do, is we don't necessarily know who these characters are, and we don't get enough history on a lot of things that are popping up. So you see he's having lunch with the Human Torch, and then they talk about meeting up later, and then he runs to help someone, and there's some fun banter. He helps this girl, and then Ant-Man comes, and then Ant-Man needs a lift, so then they go to this person named Mason, who we find out is the good Tinkerer, in difference, the opposite to the actual Tinker from way back when. And they go through and we see Uatu, who's I didn't know there was a new Watcher, but there's a new Watcher, right?
Yeah, for now.
So there's a new Watcher who's a little kid, and I don't know. But that goes on for a little while. So this is there's two different stories in it. Let's just deal with this one. What were your thoughts on the first story?
There were 2 stories?
Yes, there were 2 stories.
You really? I thought that was
Yes.
just one big convoluted mess. That's what.
No, the part with the Black Widow.
All right. Well. Oh, you mean the after?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even go that far. Once the Spider-Man stuff was over, I was like, okay, this is done. I can go. All right. I do think it was a good move for them to tell his origin again at the beginning of the story, because if you've been reading Amazing Spider-Man, it's so all over the place in terms of what Peter Parker is doing, what he should be doing. I mean, this guy's over here driving like James Bond cars and Parker particles. So normally I would say, no, we don't need another Spider-Man book. But maybe you do if you just want to read a Spider-Man book and not whatever it is that Dan Slott can push out of his rectum in order to keep stuff going. So yeah, give us the origin one more time, so you understand. Look, we're starting, not back to basics, but understand we're going to be trying to adhere as much to what makes Spider-Man work as possible going forward. Yeah. So I did think that's what they were trying to do. They want the humor. They do want to show Spider-Man, the web slinger, doing these type of things, and then it got off the. It's the first time I've seen something go off the rails and then kind of like tip over, but then like kind of right itself, and then it still makes it kind of hobbling, to the end, and that's what this one actually was. I'm supposed to look. I've been reading for years. I'm supposed to know who these characters are. A new character. And again, like when I'm seeing Uatu, I'm like, okay, this is the Watcher. I gotta go look stuff up. Like like I'm in school. I have to do research. It's the one caption they had was referring back to Spider-Man 261 from the Volume 1. I was like, what is this, a joke? Who's gonna go do that? Yeah. But you come over and I'm reading. I was like, okay, I didn't know that was Johnny Storm. I gotta piece this together. Spider-Man obviously has some stuff going on in his suit now. We can take phone calls. It would have been Spider-Man would have been the low budget guy. He would have had to web the phone to like the side of his face or something, and that would have been it. Or he would have had some headset, but not that extra high tech. the high-tech stuff was always dealing with being Spider-Man. So, better web fluid, a light, maybe some rubber gloves for his suit if he had to fight Electro, but never to the point where you were going to get these extra amenities like the suit was like a brand new automobile that now he has Wi-Fi in the suit or something. So
but no extra pockets.
Yeah, because he had to web yeah. Come on, I had to look back when I saw that he webbed it around himself.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, how was he making the calls? Like, oh, okay. But, they did have some elements there that I liked where, the girl's flirting with him and she throws the card and he's like, why'd you throw the card at me? He's like, well, don't things stick to you? Like, well, hey, not all the time. Like, no, those elements tend to work. The friendship between him and Johnny Storm, which is a long-running thing, that actually works too. And then you have stuff that just takes me out of it because it's so busy. There's all these extra characters that get thrown in there. And I'm really not supposed to have to do research. Do you want me to read this book? I'm really not supposed to have to do research to find out who these guys are. And then the ending, oh, I'm Peter Parker's sister. I was kind of like, oh, God. It's like, you are literally, it's like dating some girl and she's telling you, look, I want you to leave. Okay, but her eyes are telling you don't go. It's like, well, what do you want me to do? Come on, I'm a guy. If you tell me to do it, I'm going to do it. So do you want me to continue reading this or do you want me to get PO'd and leave? So that was the big portion with it. But I can't say I didn't. Some parts, yes. Some parts I thought were needlessly convoluted. But overall, I enjoyed myself.
Well, as I've already established, I'm the crabbiest Spider-Man fan, and I have every issue with comic, movie, whatever, cartoon. This was, it was readable. I did like a little bit of the stuff there. Definitely what you said about the tech and having the headphone. Even there's still some payphones around that you could have Spider-Man doing. There's no above ground train, all in Queens, but they keep showing Spider-Man near above ground train. That's only up in Harlem. So
There are no more above ground trains in Queens? They got rid of them?
I think.
I know the 7 train.
It's the J and the Z. The J and the Z still is up, but not the E. The E used to be above ground.
No, I know the E's underground. The 7 I thought still was,
7, yeah, you're right. 7, yeah, but I mean, I think because I'm in Queens, I think the main one is more the E and F, and those used to be above ground, and now like Forest Hills, where Spider-Man's at.
Yeah, but
I guess you go through was it LIRR? Those ones.
What happens the further you go out, the trains stop after a while. So the fact that he's always around the train, that's where it becomes a little bit dodgy. Yeah.
But it's not like a Chicago above regular train. You have to get the LIRR. What a lot of artists do is do the regular trains, which wouldn't be in Forest Hill. You have the LIRR, which is like a major train, like a big Injury Transit. But anyway, so it's okay. I would, I guess we should do the first story. I would say it's a 3-star thing. I think you can read it and come back, see where this is going. A mystery. It's a mystery.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Parker. Maybe that's a mystery. Maybe it's a setup. So you're going 3 too?
Yeah, it's 3. It's not a mystery and it's not a setup. It's called a chain jerk. That's what it is. I mean, look, it's standard comic book stuff. At the end of that big splash page at the end, and who's this? And come back to find out who it is. It's standard comic book stuff. It's just not necessarily something I want to read. But overall, I can't say I didn't enjoy myself. So yeah, 3 is fair. 3 is fair.
And then there's the backup, and I'll just quickly say. There's some mystery involving someone trying to figure out Spider-Man's Spider-Sense, which I've been waiting for. Someone that can find some struggle or some loophole in the Spider-Sense that they can counteract it. Now, Mysterio and the Green Goblin
they did
have
that
been
early
able
on.
to, but like even the Hobgoblin, at some point for some strange reason it wore off, and then Spider-Man was like, "I got my Spider-Sense back," and he just pummels. He pummels the Hobgoblin into the ground like a hammer and nail.
Because since it's biological, those things are going to be really hard to do with permanency unless you're going to kill him. At the end of the day, because for it to just surgically attack his spider sense and leave everything else alone. And mind you, these guys are like, "Hey, we're going to get rid of the spider sense." I was like, "Why don't you just kill him? If you can get that close with the spider sense, just kill him. That'll be the end of it." So look, it's going to be temporary, especially since it's biological. Since you're just trying to get one aspect of it.
Spider-Man. The whole other thing is that Spider-Man doesn't like. I was reading this character who I didn't know was in the Spider-Man comic. This woman, Necra, and they list what her powers was. And when I was thinking of writing Spider-Man, I was like, "Oh, she'd be a good villain for Spider-Man." And it's like, "Oh, she has strength and she can draw from her own emotion or negative emotions, and she can lift 10 tons for about an hour. And it's just like, Spider-Man has no limit as far as staying his strength never dies down. When he fights someone, his adrenaline rush always keeps him going no
Spider-Man.
matter what. And I was like, why did they decide that this person needs to weaken after an hour or something like that? And Spider-Man never weakens.
Because if she doesn't weaken, especially since it's based on emotion, who does she become? A villain for the Hulk eventually.
Well, she doesn't. The thing is that the strength wasn't continually expanding.
Yeah, and
it just stays at 10.
I mean, they did the same thing. She probably would have been a better villain for Moon Knight when he had the whole. His strength was attached to the moon, so he would get like stronger. Then you have a better thing right there.
I just think that they've made Spider-Man, and this is, I mean, it happened even in the Ditko run, because as you get towards the end of his run and Stan wanting more battles, like the battle with the Molten Man, like when he runs into Kraven, it's like he takes him apart in like no time, and then it's like the hunt is over. And it's like, the whole point of Kraven is not a one-to-one thing. It's him setting him up, weakening Spider-Man, poisoning him, and then like the way a Matador or a Hunter would, like cheat away, like what was it?
Wear him down.
Yeah, exactly. Not just come in, I'm going to go strength for strength, because that was never his hook. They show immediately like, oh, I can beat up a gorilla, and Spider-Man's like, you can beat up a gorilla, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
So like, but then he attached Spider-Man's arm to his leg. It's like he sets him up, and then you have a good comic. So there you go. I mean, check it out, and hopefully it holds up, and hopefully Adam Kubert stays with the book. I know he has he struggled on.
He's not staying with the book.
All right, Spinner Rack out.
Thanks, Spinner Rack. You saved me money.